Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video I'm gonna show you guys how to crochet this simple crop top, and as you guys see here, we don't do anything too complicated. Very nice. And you can wear it however, so this can be the back or the front. It doesn't make a big difference. It looks exactly the same. The measurements are exactly the same, so you will not have to worry about what side goes in the front, what side goes in the back. But yeah, this is what we're going to be working on here with the summer here. It's nice to do some nice tops for the summer, and I hope you guys will join me in making this simple one. Okay, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so for this top we're going to be using these materials. As you guys know, I love red, so I will always make a lot of things in red. But this is a yarn called Azurite, 100% acrylic, and this is a brand that I find here in France. I don't know if you have this brand in wherever you're watching this video from, but any yarn that resembles this, if you want to get the project to be exactly the same but also just using a different yarn altogether, is perfectly okay. So this is a lightweight number 3. Okay, so you will see somewhere here that I cannot see right now, but it's a lightweight number 3, and recommended hook size is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook, and this is 50 grams for this size here. Okay, and the color, I call this red obviously, as you can see, but the color plot is 3025. Okay, so this is what I'm using for this project. I'm going to be using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. I have my darning needle here. I have some stitch markers, even though I may not need them, but I always make sure I have some around. I have my scissors to cut off the strands, and of course a tape measure to see how wide I want it and things like that. And most often I make projects that are for me, so I just put things on me. I try them on, and if I see that is a good length, a good width, then I don't use a tape measure as much. But for you guys, especially if you're making it for yourself and you don't know how to measure yourself, then use a tape measure. And as well, if you're making it for someone else, then it's gonna come in handy to make sure you know the sizes of the person you're making it for. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovely, so we're gonna go ahead and get started here. And as you can see, I'm going to just start by doing the back or the bottom of our shirt. And to do that, we have to create a foundation chain that will then allow us to create the band, which is the bottom part of our crop top. Okay, so to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and create a slip knot, and this is how I do my slip knot here. Okay, and then I'm going to start by doing a chain of 13. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3, so 13. Okay, now I will talk why we have a chain of 13 as opposed to 10, 11, 15, 20, whatever number you can come up with. This band here this is the width of our band. So if we put it down like this is gonna be how we work this part of it, because this is the width of our band, and this is gonna be how big it is. If you want it to be smaller, then you'll need to reduce your stitches or your chains here to make it smaller. You can go from 10, 11, however many, even 8, even 6 if you want it to be much smaller. And if you wanted it to be larger or wider than this, then you will do more chains. It doesn't matter how many chains you do, just do however many chains you need to have the width that you're looking for. So I do mine at 13 because it's a nice cute size that is not too wide and it's not too small. Okay, now that I have completed that, I'm going to skip the 13th stitch right here, and in the 12th one I'm going to go in the back of that chain and do a single crochet like that. Then I'm gonna go into the next chain towards my left, and I will do another single crochet, and then into the next and do a single crochet. So this is gonna be what we do until all the way we get to the last one here. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you guys at the end. Okay, so I have completed my first row here of single crochet stitches, and as you can see, just very simple. Okay, and then we're gonna start a second row, so we're gonna chain 1 and turn, and then in the next stitch, which is right after we chain the 1, we're gonna go in the back loop and do a single crochet. You guys know this is my favorite stitch here. Like I do this for every band that I do. Okay, and then you just continue to pick up the back loops only, and then complete a single crochet. Okay, and you're gonna do this all the way to the end. Again, for those of you who are part of this crochet family, you know that for the final stitch, I go through both loops as opposed to the back loop only, okay? And this is gonna be what you repeat for as long as you need to get the width of half of your panel, okay? So this is gonna be a very short crop top, so it's very croppy. So I'm going to pretty much measure almost just right below my bust to see how what is the circumference of that area of my body. So a little bit of upper waist, I should say. And then based on that, I will cut the number into a half. And then I will do the length of my band that is of that length, which is half of my circumference, okay? So just like that. And then when you finish, you go chain one, turn, and then you repeat that again. And then you're gonna keep doing that until you have the half of your width, the upper waist width of your body, or the person you're making these for. It could be for a child, which means you will make it really small. It could be for a small size, which is what I'm making mine to be, a medium, a large, extra large, extra large, 3 extra, like whatever. This is just something that is very easy to just kind of get it to the size, any size that you want. And while we speak about sizes, a lot of people ask me, how do you do this in this size? How do you do that in that size? I don't create a lot of things in different sizes because I model my own things and I just make them in my size so I can actually put it on and show it to you guys so you guys see how it looks like. So for that reason, I don't actually work with things by saying, oh, for an extra large, do these many chains. But I explain to you guys how you need to come about to do the size that you need, okay? So for example, what I'm making here, it's very simple to just measure the upper top of your torso. And if I can just grab my tape measure here really quick, I'm just gonna do it so I can actually tell you guys using my example, okay? So I'm about a 28 for my waist. And when I cut this in half, okay, I'm getting about 14, okay? So 14 inches. So I'm gonna do this band here to be 14 inches when I stretch it, okay? So when I stretch it, it comes to 14 inches. And it's also, you have to also accommodate the fact that if you do it to fit just your size, it's gonna be tight. So if you want it loose, then of course add more rows so that it can be loose. If you want it to be a lot tighter, then respect exactly what the circumference of your waist is, because then it will actually be that exactly. But also keep in mind, you have to put your shirt on, okay? So if you're gonna put your shirt on at very tight, but it's gonna be tight, too tight that you cannot put it on, maybe it's not a good thing. So make sure you have a wiggle room. There's a lot of people who, instead of actually pulling this apart until it gets to the 14 inches or whatever half of their circumference is, they leave it like that. So it's gonna end up being a lot wider when you extend it or when you pull it apart, when you stretch it. But when it shrinks back to its normal size, it's gonna be exactly what the circumference is. And that stretchiness allows you to wear your shirt without it being too tight or without it not being able to go up from the top of your head, okay? So just very small tips like that. Anyways, I'm gonna go on and work on this until I have what I'm looking for. When it's done, I will come back so we can start the next part of the project together. See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the band of one of the panels. So the back panel and the front panel are gonna be exactly identical. So this is one of them. And as you can see, I did, by the way, for those of you who ask how many rows I do of anything, I don't like to talk about rows because it depends on each person's size. But for this one example, I did 60 rows altogether here. And this is what I get, okay? So we talked about earlier how you need to make it so that when you stretch it, you get to the half of the circumference of your waist. So if I do take my tape measure right now and just kind of place it there without really pulling or doing anything with it, I come up to about 11 and a half. So I went up a tiny bit past 11, for example. And the reason I did that is because when I could have stopped at 10. If I stopped at 10 inches, this would have been perfectly fine, because right now I'm not stretching my work, okay? But if I place this here and I stretch my work, okay, so even though it's almost about 12 inches and I'm supposed to get to 14, remember that, okay? If I pull this, I can go up to 19, 18, 19. So this part here is very stretchy. And for that reason, it's gonna be very comfortable for me to put it on. Instead of just getting to 14, I'm going to almost 18. So I have an extra 4 inches that is of a playroom for it to be comfortable and not too tight. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about when I say you have to just do it so that you create the comfort that you're looking for. If, for example, you wanted this to be a lot loose or like not too hugging, then just continue to build up your rows here. Just continue to work in until you find that it's the right size for you, and then or whoever you're making it for, and then that's it, you stop there. So it's not a very big complicated thing. Again, I make very simple things, hence why I'm called Simply Angel Tia here on YouTube, is because I try as much as I can to make projects very easy and not counting stitches and go for a large, make sure you do this many rows. For a medium, do this many rows, because we're not all a medium that is one person is not a medium to the next person. Sizes are very complicated for that reason. So instead of talking sizes in that sense, I just explain it in a way that you can get the size that fits you or the person that you're making this for, a client, whoever you're making this for. Okay. All right, sorry, I'm talking a lot I'm talking a lot on this video about this kind of stuff. It's just because I get a lot of questions about asking about size, how many rows do I need to do for this size and that, and so on and so forth, in which we don't have to do that when you're following my tutorials. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to then do the next simple thing, which is working on the rest of the top of the part of the top here. Okay, so we're gonna start by doing a chain one. I'm gonna make sure I center myself here. And then right in this gap right next to it, we're going to do a half double crochet. Okay, so a half double crochet goes in like this. Then you yarn over, you go into the next gap, and then you do your half double crochet. And you may be asking what gap I'm talking about. If you look at our work like this, we do have this protruding here, then we have this valley. I always count going on top of that protruding area as a stitch, so I go on top of that, and then right into the valley area, I count it as a stitch, and I go in that, and I complete my next stitch, and then I go on top and I complete my next stitch, and then I go in the valley and I complete my next stitch. And I just do this all along until I get to the other side of the band. Okay, so the other side being right here. When I complete that, I will come back, and as you will do as well, come back and I will show you how to start the second row. And the second row will be our repeat row for the remainder of this project. So please go ahead and come back, finish this row, come back, and we will go ahead and pick up from there, and I'll show you the next row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the first row here of our crop top, and as you can see, because we do the half double crochet on top of the single crochet stitches, it does make it kind of curve a little bit like this, but that is perfect because it's for a top. And as you guys know, if you have a top that kind of snatches on the waist, then it looks like it's smaller in that section than the rest of the top, which is good like this. Okay, this is what you're aiming for. And at the end of your work here, make sure you go to the very last stitch as well. There is a stitch that you need to go into it, because if you don't, there's going to be a little bit of a gap. Let me just quickly show you here. Actually, if I stop here, this is how this looks. Okay, as you can see, there's that there that kind of just hangs, and you want to make sure you go into that very last stitch as well and do your half double crochet there. And as you can see, it makes it nice and complete like that. Okay, nice. Okay, so to start our row 2, which is our repeat row, we're gonna do a chain 1, and we're gonna turn. And then to do the rest of it, you're just gonna go ahead and go into the very next stitch after that and do your half double crochet, and you're gonna go into the next and do a half double crochet, and into the next, and into the next, and into the next, and then you just repeat. So this is our repeat row here. There's nothing much complicated with this project. As I say, simple, just like me, very simple in the sense that you just want to make sure like we can create things without stressing too much about a lot of things. Okay, so you're gonna repeat this all the way to the end. When you get to the very last one here, always remember there's a very final stitch in the corner here that you need to go into. Okay, this guy over here is a stitch. Make sure you go in here as your last stitch like that, and then you're gonna chain 1, turn, repeat. Okay, so for me, I want this top to be very croppy, so very short, almost like I can wear it sometimes as a bikini cover. And for that reason, I'm going to not do too many rows. I think I'm going to do about maybe 20 to 24, 25 rows, and that should be enough for me to stop there. And so I will come back and show you guys how that looks like. And then when we're satisfied with it, we're gonna go ahead and start the second panel, which is exactly the same as the first one. Now, talking about sizes again, if you want your top to be a lot longer than just a very croppy crop top, then you just keep working on this number of rows here. You just keep going, 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 going. Every now and then, go to the mirror, put it against your body, see how long it is, and when you hit the size that you think is comfortable and you would like to stop there, then you stop there. Okay, nothing at all. Just make sure you're marking down how many rows you do for each panel, because you do need to repeat the second panel exactly the same way. Now, and if you want it much croppier than this, I don't know if there's gonna be much croppier than this, then of course you just stop your rows a lot faster than, let's say, 20 to 24. Okay, you stop it maybe at 20, at 18, at 16, however. So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and continue working on this panel until I complete what I'm looking for. When I have, I will come back and I will show you guys what to do next. Okay, so see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed one panel here, and as you guys can see, I decided to do about 24 rows altogether from here up. And this is pretty much how big it is or small it is, depending on how you're looking at it. So again, if I was to bring my tape measure into the play here, if I measure this from the top to the bottom, it's about 8 inches. Okay, so about 8 inches, that's not bad at all. I like it to be very croppy. Of course, if I was making this for someone, I would ask them how long they want it, and depending on how long they want it, I would continue to increase, or I would decrease and have less rows than this. Okay, and if you measure the wideness here, I'm about 24 for the top, or sorry, 14 for the top, a little bit less than 14, but again, keep in mind this, it is very, very stretchy, so we don't have to worry about this panel here being too small. And of course, if you're doing it to fit a lot looser, then this would have been a lot wider, because this part of it here would have been wider. What I will do for a future top, just to show how to actually make this part way wider than this, we can either change the stitch that we do here, or I can show you how to increase at the beginning to make this part a lot wider. But that can be a different video. Don't worry about it on this right now. After my 24 rows, I cut off the yarn, but I left it a little bit longer like this, because we're gonna need to increase, we're gonna need to join this section here of our top. So by leaving this string kind of like hanging longer like this, it's gonna give me an opportunity to join that here, and I will do the same for this one here. Okay, so that's it. We're gonna put this one on the side, and I'm gonna have you guys work on your second one, and I will do the same. And when that's done, we're gonna come back and we will talk about how we do the straps of this crop top. Okay, so go ahead and complete your second first, and then we'll talk about the straps when we have our 2 panels completed. See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my second panel. So as you can see, I have the one that we completed together right here, and then I have the second one that I completed. So now I have 2 panels for the body of this crop top completed. Okay, and as you can see, just like I did the other one, I left the string at the end long, because we're gonna use this to join the sides of our crop top here. And so that's what we're gonna do first, and then we're gonna do the straps. Okay, so to join, what I will do, I've already lined them up here how I want to join them, and it doesn't really matter how you do it as long as they are nicely joined together. So what I will do is I will use this side to quickly show you guys here as an example, so that we can have this joint from here to here. And so I just grab my darning needle and I put my yarn into the hole there for the darning needle, and then we're going to be able to join. And then when I show you guys how I do it, then you can quickly go ahead and complete this side and then the other side as well. And then we will work on getting the straps made and then joined into the top. Okay, so what I do is I just make sure I hold this really nice and tight like this. And then as you can see, the panel that has the long yarn is on the other side, which is away from me, and then this side doesn't. So I'll just go into the top of this side here and go into the top of the other side. So there's no actual stitches here that we're working with, but we're gonna just kind of gap it so that it makes sense. So that we do it once like that, then we do it again to just reinforce this part here like that. Okay, now that's done, we're just gonna go into the next spot here and just grab as little as we want to here, because we don't want it to be too bulky. So we're just gonna do it very nice and not too gappy, not too close together. And we're just gonna go ahead and join all the way down this part here. And when we get to where we did our band here, we're gonna have stitches that we can work with. So we're just gonna line up the 12 stitches. So we're gonna go and join them like this, and then the next one you're gonna join the stitches like that all the way to the bottom. Okay, so this is how we're gonna work on joining our top, the two panels. And then when you're done this side, you're gonna remove your darning needle, use this other string on the other side to join the other side. When both sides are done and you have a tube top, then you will come back to the video so I can show you how to do the straps. And then when we finish making our straps, then we will go ahead and join them to the top as well. But for now, go ahead and join your two panels together like this, and then come back to the video. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined the top on each side. So as you can see, this is done on this side as well as on this side. And don't worry, this is going to be the inside of our top, and the other side that is a lot cleaner and neater is going to be the outside. Okay, so but we're going to leave it like this because we're going to work on the straps right here. And so I'm gonna just explain how we do the straps, not necessarily do it with you, because what we're doing is we're repeating exactly what we did for the band here, except instead of doing the 13 chains to start the band, we do 11. So we are a little bit smaller, so I'll show you what I have done already. So as you can see, this is one that I've already completed, and if you look at the length of it, it's a little bit smaller by about 2 inches or by about 2 stitches from the band. And this is how I am doing my straps. Okay, the reason I completed the straps is so I can before showing you on the video is so that you guys can decide whether you want the straps to be like this or not. If you don't want the straps to be like this, you could just do chains here, where you do the chains on this side however many, like 50 to 100, and then on the other side you do the same thing and you tie your two straps up above your shoulders. But for this, the sake of this tutorial, I'm choosing to make the straps like this. Okay, so I have already put these against my body, and I've already sectioned out by using the stitch markers where I'm gonna put my strap from. So for me, I'm gonna pretty much lay this thing right here, the strap right here. So from the stitch marker inwards, this is where I'm gonna put that here, and then on the other side, I'm gonna line it up the same, and I will do the strap on the other side as well. So at the end, this is gonna be how my straps go right here. And the second one that I've also already completed will go from here to here, and then from there to there. So this is how my straps will go on me. Okay, now for joining, you're just going to line up each of the straps. Again, when I did my straps like this, I did the same thing that I did with this length here, the length of the band. I did 60 rows. Okay, so this here is about 60 rows. You could do it so that it fits you, but for me, when I put this against my body, it's a good size to go from the inside of my body, or like the inside to the back. So the front side to the back, if I do put these up on top of my shoulders like this, it kind of end up laying just exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so I'm gonna have you guys create your straps however you want it. Again, if you don't want your straps like this, or if you want them smaller, you can do a smaller chain. So instead of maybe doing 11, you could do 7, and it will make sure that the strap is a little bit smaller. But I like mine wide like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and join this. So again, I'm just gonna line it up from where the stitch marker is like this. Join that there. I'll do the second one here, flip it over, and then make sure I mark it exactly where the next one goes from here to here, and then the other way as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and join my straps to the top here. When I have both straps joined and I will weave in all of my ends, I will come back to show you guys how it looks like at the end. Okay, so I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined the straps here to the top, and as you can see, this is pretty much how they look like. Very simple. This is very nice. If you do wear a bra underneath, it does cover your bra really nice here, and it looks very nice and tight and fitting like I wanted. So of course, if you made yours to be this fitting, it will be the same thing like this. But as I told you, this side here is where we joined it. So I'm gonna flip it to the other side where I believe it's gonna look a little bit neater. So, and all you have to do is just flip your work like this, and this becomes the outside of your shirt, okay, of your crop top, and the other side becomes the inside. And as you can see, where we joined is not as visible as the other side was. Okay, so this is pretty much the top done here. So I hope you guys enjoyed making this simple one with me. It's a very nice simple for beginners as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and please make sure you give a thumbs up to this video, share it with your loved ones, and of course make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be reminded when I post new videos, which I do weekly, mostly Fridays or Saturdays. Okay, thank you so much again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.